I'm Nicole George, Committee Chair, and I'm joined today by Committee Vice Chair Robin Engel and Committee members Keisha Dorsey, Cassie Chambers Armstrong, Stuart Benson, Madonna Flood, and Councilman Hollander will be joining us shortly. We have one special discussion item and two pieces of legislation. We're going to hear the special discussion first, then we'll be taking item number 2, the resolution, and doubling back to item number 1. So with that, it's my understanding that we have several one-way road conversion projects underway, one being downtown and the other concentrated in our West End neighborhoods. So we've asked Public Works to come today to describe a brief overview, remind us what we hope to achieve with these conversions, and provide a timeline. And so with that, I'm going to call our special discussion, ID 21-1386, two-way street conversion, and I see we have Dirk Goen here with Public Works to share. Dirk, take it away.
Yeah, I'm Dirk Goen. I'm the Transportation Division Manager within Metro Public Works. So over the past 5 years, maybe longer, we've been looking at doing some one-way to two-way conversions. Back in the 60s, they took a lot of our streets and they converted what were two-way streets, made them one-way with the express interest of getting people into the downtown and back out of town as quickly as possible. Now we view the two-way conversions to slow traffic. They'll make it somewhat safer. And I think it kind of is very important that we do this within residential neighborhoods, because if I was raising a family, I'm not certain I'd want to live on a one-way street. And the business owners, they love the access. The third reason is visitors to our community. I don't know how many times I've seen someone driving the wrong way on a one-way street because they're not used to our systems. So it's important that we make these conversions. Here's one of my favorite examples. Northwestern Parkway. It is 60 feet wide from face of curb to face of curb. Back in the 50s, it had a center median in it and growing grass. I've got one picture that's shown there. And then in 1962, they got the Sherman-Mitten completed, and they took that, they took out the median and they converted Northwestern Parkway one way and built the on-ramps to get you to that new bridge. And they made changes to Bank Street at the same time to move traffic quicker over to the other side of the river. Here's a map that we've got of all our activities. I know that's difficult to see. Those in green are further along than the others, and then we have a few that are under conceptual design, and then we have a few more that are kind of on the list, and we've got to work our way through them. Hopefully that shows up well to you all. We have a bid package that is ready to be posted for construction bids on 7th and 8th and Jefferson Streets. 7th and 8th is predominantly all the way throughout, except 7th between Main and Washington is not going to be converted at this time. And then Jefferson is really right there at the end of the ramp at Brook Street East, all the way back to Baxter. We're finding that bids are moving a little bit slow, that we're not getting a whole lot of competition out there. The construction companies are extremely busy, so it's kind of slowed our responses. So I'm hopeful that we can get started on this come January, February with those two. Right along behind those is Shelby, Campbell, Chestnut, Muhammad Ali, and Liberty Street. Now these are all include federal funds, and they've been on hold for years, and we finally got those advanced. The council provided us some funding, and we have developed final designs on Chestnut River Park, Muhammad Ali, from 9th Street West. And we need some more public involvement, and we'll need some more funding to advance those projects. The combined total for those streets is approximately it's $2.25 million. The reason these are so expensive is mostly the traffic signals. We have to redo all the poles. We have to add new signal cabinets. We have new signal heads. The traffic signal intersections are approximately $100,000 each to upgrade. Now, understand, though, that the investment we've made in our traffic signals, we've got controllers that are from 1970s. So really, these improvements would have to be made whether or not we were doing this project.
Dirk, can I stop you there real quick and just
Sure.
ask a question? So I know you had mentioned that the council did make an initial allocation, I believe it was 4.2 million. And what I think I heard you say was to include the Chestnut, River Park, and Muhammad Ali pieces, we would need another 2.25.
That's correct. There was simply local funds placed to one-way to two-way FY20. This was the first one that we jumped on because whenever you have the interchanges, in this case we got the Watterson on the west side there, those intersections sometimes are quite costly to make changes to. Chestnut and Muhammad Ali were relatively inexpensive. The funding for those in green is in place, and we don't need any additional funding. Chestnut, River Park, Muhammad Ali, we do need more dollars. And all these that we're going to show you on the list, it's not going to be inexpensive, and we are going to have to budget. If we want to make this reality, we're going to have to budget millions of dollars.
Okay, understood. And then lastly, you had said that there was also more public involvement needed in these two pieces. What does that look like?
Well, I think we probably need to get with the council members in those districts and try to set up some meetings to where people can come in, see what the plans are, and express their opinions. We never can do too much of that,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, thank you.
Now, we're what I'm calling a concept development stage, 2nd and 3rd Street. Now, it's a state highway. You can see that in parentheses, Kentucky 1020. We have implemented a study with a consultant to look at that conversion, start coming up with some cost estimates to make that conversion. For the first time, though, with Secretary Gray in the Commonwealth within the Transportation Cabinet, he is a past mayor of Lexington, so he's very supportive, which we've never had that support in the past. So this is a great opportunity to advance those. Shelby and Logan, we had some state funds. That was identified as traffic calming. Just within the past few weeks, we've got word that this is to be done as designed for one-way to two-way conversions. So we're kicking off that effort later this month. And then Northwestern Parkway, the picture I showed you at the beginning, that's that section that's really wide from 33rd over to 39th, and then it narrows back down. But that stretch in there, I envision trying to restore it back to the parkway it was, but we're going to have some public meetings and come in there with a clean slate and talk to the community and see what they really desire for that corridor. And these come in pairs. I want to say that we just don't take one down because they are paired. One way, it's called a dangling one-way street. When you left with one, it's kind of like 3rd Street that was between a two-way 2nd Street and a two-way 4th Street. That's a dangling one-way pair, and so we finally got to most of that north of Broadway. But we will take these down as pairs so that we provide the same number of lanes in each direction after the conversions.
Thank you. And let me jump in on this. So if I understood, Shelby and Logan, the state funds have been made available.
There's $500,000 that was made available in state funding within the 6-year plan. At this time, we have $100,000 for design efforts. That's not going to take us all the way through to final design drawings. So we will be digging into those 500,000 to get us there. And then I would expect that it's going to be $2 million for construction, which we don't have in place yet either.
Okay, so just so it's very clear to me, in terms of concept development, how much funding is needed for these roadways, for the concepts themselves, for the designs?
For the Shelby and Logan?
So if we can go back to the last slide.
Oops, sorry.
So for all of these that are listed, are there additional funding allocations needed for the designs themselves?
There will be additional design funds required for second and third Shelby and Logan. Well, Shelby and Logan, hopefully at $500,000 we've got, but second and third will definitely need more design funds. Northwestern Parkway and Bank Street, I'd like to see where we end up after these public meetings before I say whether we will need more dollars or not.
Okay, thank you.
Now, here's a lengthy list of projects that was on that map, and I was quite busy. There's 2 pages of these. So there are quite a few of these projects that are out there that we will be evaluating and need to be programming within a concept development. Ideally, we will lay out a program so that we're always developing plans and constructing every year a pair, maybe a couple of pairs to every year to try to bring some of these to conversion. And I will be working with advanced planning to identify the priorities of which ones that we advance, and with the council as well. I know the community has a lot of desire for these conversions. Everyone needs to understand that when we have ramps that come on or off the interstate on the left-hand side, those prevent the conversion to two-way traffic. So it's going to slow us down. There's like Brook and First Street come to mind. Those streets we will never be able to touch where those ramps come in. That's all I have at this point. Is there any further questions?
I'm certain there will be. Really quickly, so when we say we need further evaluation of these, they certainly don't have the funding for design concepts, and it sounds like we still need some work to be done around priority setting and engagement to identify. And then on this key with the map that you presented, when we see, for instance, the red streets that say infrastructure don't analyze, what does that mean?
Well, I think that would be, like I said, about First and Brook, that's got the ramps on the left side, so there's not an opportunity
Okay, and then
to make those conversions.
And then narrow residential, what does that mean?
Pardon me?
It says narrow residential. It's the brown.
Well, there's some streets that have been made one way that are, they're 20 some. Let's see. Thinking about that, they're like 24 feet wide, or they're just not very wide. And if we go two-way, then we have to remove parking on one side. So I don't think there's some of those that I think the preference of the residents would be is we would never make those conversions.
Thank you. We're using the GroupMe app, and I don't see where Public Works has been added. So I guess if anyone has questions, feel free to jump in and ask Dirk. Okay, it'll be coming. Any questions on one-way conversions? Okay, well, with that, we're really glad you came and provided the update, and it sounds like we need to be thinking about funding opportunities as well as community engagement strategies and priority setting. So, very helpful.